Good Saturday evening, YouTube. Sir and Disney back here with yet another edition of Plus and Minus. But before we talk about that, let me bring you guys up to speed on what happened yesterday. Of course, we watched 3 movies. Movie 43, overall, really trying to be like the Kentucky Fried movie or the underground comedy movie or maybe a comedy version of VHS. A lot of stories put together. They really don't have much of a connection at all, other than the fact that apparently the basic storyline is this. Greg Kinnear works at a movie production office, and I guess he works at a studio. I'm not exactly sure what he does at the studio, but he's a studio exec, and he is very low on the totem pole. And pretty much, Dennis Quaid, that's a strike right there for me. Dennis Quaid comes in and basically says he wants to get this script made, and it's the most offensive script ever put to paper. And basically that's where movie 43 comes in. There's different segments. And I'll save you some time. It's all gross out humor. It's not funny. Well, there's a couple things that are kind of funny, kind of humorous, but overall it's not funny. And the bad far outweighs the good. So stay away. And I will say one thing. If you want to see the best segment in the movie, it is a segment between Kieran Culkin and Emma Stone. And you need to watch that. It takes place in a grocery store, over the microphone. Really funny, really hilarious, really smartly funny too. Very raunchy, very dirty, but really funny. And Liev Schreiber and Naomi Watts homeschooling their kid. It's funny as well. Other than that, stay away. Terrible. Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters. Not what I was expecting. Actually, pretty decent. Pretty good, actually. I would recommend it. It's out there violent, extremely bloody, extremely gory, extremely graphically gory. It's got nudity in it. It's got a whole lot of language in it. Jeremy Renner and Gemma Arterton do really well in what they do. But basically, there's a character in the movie who is a troll. His name is Edward, and it's played by Derek Mears. And if any horror marks should know who Derek Mears is, he played Jason in the last Friday the 13th reboot. It was last year or the year before. I don't know, I get them all mixed up because there's a reboot of a different horror movie every single year. But it was good and it was really well done. I very much enjoyed it. What I didn't enjoy, on the other hand, was Parker. Now, here's the thing. Parker is a hodgepodge. I use that word a lot lately. I've not been trying to. It's just how it works. Hodgepodge, because the first half of the movie is awesome. There is a heist from the Ohio State Fair, and things go wrong, and they burn down the building when they were just supposed to light some hay bales on fire. You'll get that later if you watch the movie. And after that, they basically take Parker out to the middle of nowhere, and they shoot him, leave him for dead, and they think he's dead. Of course, years later, Parker's coming after every single member of this gang, one way or another, to try to take him down. That's awesome. That's a great story, and it worked really well. The problem is, Jennifer Lopez comes in as a character from a whole different movie. I'm going to give AJ credit for that because he came up with it. A character from a whole different romantic comedy. Not this movie. She does not fit in this movie very well at all. That part seemed forced. And if it was eliminated, the movie would have been a whole lot better. And Parker would have been very enjoyable. Because the first half of it was pretty good. When Jennifer Lopez comes in, done the party. Basically, it's the totally opposite effect from when Javier Bardem comes in Skyfall, when I actually started paying attention. Because the first half of Skyfall is extremely boring. And then after that, basically, I somewhat enjoyed what I saw. I mean, I don't lie, I don't hate it. I don't hate it as much as you guys think I do. I don't hate it as much as everybody thinks I do. No, not at all. It's overrated, but then again, so is The Hobbit, so there you go. Come at me, fanboys. Anyway, we're going to talk about that. Also, got another job opportunity, so maybe a second job is in my future. It's very possible that I might get a second job. Now, I actually have a job interview tomorrow. I don't know if anything will come out of it, but let's hope for the best at this point, because I really need money, because I am really, really in debt right now. Now, granted, that's my fault for going home for almost a month, and also combining a Disney cruise on top of that, but it's okay, no big deal. I'll find my way out. I'll dig my way out like I always do, so it'll be fine. Now, I know what you guys are waiting for, and that is Plus and Minus, because it is Saturday, and I just had an awesome meal at Logan's with my mom. So it's time to sit back and delve into another theme park that I'm going to plus or minus. And this time we're going to talk about SeaWorld. So, I want to bring up the first bit of information here. And it's actually, I gotta find it first. Basically, SeaWorld pretty much decided they wanted to become an IPO. So that's fine. They decided they wanted to do that, and they wanted to become a public company. A publicly traded company on the stock exchange. That's fine. That made a lot of money for the company. However, in their infinite wisdom, they decided that maybe if they sell the company to another product, possibly they can make even more money. So, of course, we know that Anheuser-Busch had SeaWorld. It's the SeaWorld Park, SeaWorld Busch Gardens, Sesame Place. And Anheuser-Busch, of course, sold it to InBev, which sold it to Blackstone, and Blackstone has it now. Well, Blackstone looks like they're going to sell to one of two companies. Now, I told you guys that I would be talking about what happened at different places got the parks. I think what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to focus on the places that possibly will get the parks. Cedar Fair has no chance to get the SeaWorld parks. Sorry, it's not going to happen. To have Busch Gardens, Cedar Point, and Kings Island under your banner would be too crazy, so not going to happen. Universal's not going to buy it because except for Legoland, they'd have an Orlando monopoly. And technically, Legoland is not in Orlando, so it's outside of Orlando in Winter Haven, which is close enough, but still far away enough to not say that it's every single park in Orlando. Right now, Universal would have Universal, Islands, SeaWorld, and if they would buy Legoland, they would have everything. But that's not going to happen, so Universal's not buying the parks. And as much as I like to see Disney doing to buy the parks, I think the Avatar area that's soon to be gone is Camp Mini Mickey is gone now. So, well, soon to be gone, obviously, to make room for the Pandora area of Animal Kingdom. Can't really do anything with the characters and SeaWorld characters and the SeaWorld shows, SeaWorld rides. I'd like to see some of that stuff in the parks, but it doesn't really fit very well, so we're going to knock them out. Now I'm going to focus on the two companies right now that have it right now. First off, the first company, if you were not aware, is called Apollo Global Management. And Apollo Global Management is a company that was founded in 1990 by former Drexel Burnham Lambert banker Leon Black. Yes, I'm reading that exactly from Wiki. And of course, like I said, if it's on the internet, it's got to be true. Now, another thing I want to read you about here, these are some of the places, some of the portfolio investments, some of the companies that are under the banner of Apollo Global Marketing, which is AMC, which of course is our main competitor when it comes to a movie theater, Claire's, and Great Wolf Resorts, which do the awesome water park inside a hotel deals, Linens and Things, McGraw-Hill Education, the Norwegian Cruise Lines, and those are the main businesses, actually. So it'd be interesting to see what they would do with a theme park. Now, they've proven with the Great Wolf Resorts that they can make a water park work. So I think Aquatica would be fine. But, and I think that Water Country USA would be fine. But I don't know what it would do to Busch Gardens and SeaWorld and Sesame Place. I think Sesame Place would be fine, honestly. But if you have a place that already owns a movie theater, there's so many things you can do with it. You could do all sorts of combined things. Like, for example, now I know Earth was our production, but there was a Turtle Trek movie that was out, not really in theaters for a long time, but it was promoting SeaWorld and the new Turtle Trek attraction. So, needless to say, they put this out in theaters, and it could have been a really good combination to have the AMC theater at, well, I guess you would say the AMC theater at City Walk, if I had to think about it. Because you don't want to use the AMC theater at Disney, because it doesn't make any sense. But you could do that in order to promote your movie. So, and that's pretty much the advantages to Apollo Global Marketing. Other than the fact they don't really have any theme park cred whatsoever. So it'd be interesting to see. They could do fine with Water Country USA and Aquatica, but when it comes down to it, they have no theme park cred. So I don't know what that would happen with SeaWorld and Busch Gardens. But, you want to talk about people that have cred? The other place that's deciding they want to possibly buy the SeaWorld family of parks, Six Flags. You know, Six Flags, according to Wiki, apparently is the world's largest amusement park corporation, based upon quantity of properties, the fifth most popular in terms of attendance. Now, there's 19 properties throughout North America, including water parks, thrill parks, and family entertainment centers. So basically, the company is founded in Texas. So we have Six Flags parks in Texas, Of course, that's one of the bigger ones. We have Six Flags Parks. Used to be acquired, they acquired a company called Fun Time Parks, which is where Geauga Lake came out of, which used to be right beside SeaWorld. And that's where Six Flags World of Adventure came into effect. Wyandotte Lake, of course, Darien Lake in Buffalo, New York. Lake compounds in Bristol, Connecticut. And of course, all the Six Flags parks like Magic Mountain, Kentucky Kingdom, Six Flags over Georgia, Six Flags over Texas. Just all the awesome Six Flags parks. And all the water parks as well. But Six Flags actually went into bankruptcy. And this wasn't very long ago. This was 2010. So they went to bankruptcy. And they pretty much wiped the slate clean. Well, now they're starting to get back into the swing of things. And I have a list here. I have a list here of all the amusement parks. We have one in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. We have Queensbury, New York. Mitchellville, Maryland. Vallejo, California, which is Discovery Kingdom. Fiesta, Texas. Great Adventure. Great America. Magic Mountain. Six Flags, Mexico. Six Flags New England, Six Flags over Texas, Six Flags St. Louis, and Six Flags over Georgia. And they also currently have 4 Hurricane Harbor Parks in Maryland, Illinois, Massachusetts, and Missouri, Splashwater Kingdom in New York, and Whitewater Bay in San Antonio, Texas. And there's also, that's part of an indoor park as well. Now, let's look at it from this perspective. SeaWorld combining with Six Flags would be a very interesting marketing decision. Because the Six Flags parks are really well known all around the country. And you add the Six Flags parks to Orlando, San Antonio, and San Diego for SeaWorld, and Williamsburg and Tampa Bay for Busch Gardens. And of course you have the 2 Aquaticas, the one that's about to be built, as well as Water Country USA in Williamsburg. So they know what they're doing. They really do. They seem to know what they're doing. And I think Six Flags would be a great person to purchase SeaWorld. And here's another thing we'll have to talk about as well. And when I get to the plus and minuses, I'm going to explain exactly what I want to do with this. Now, here's another thing about SeaWorld. Now, there's another thing that is not really in the equation yet. And that is SeaWorld in Dubai. Apparently, when Bush and Nakheel, which is a developer as well, they plan to make a SeaWorld, Busch Gardens, Aquatica, and Discovery Cove on the man-made island of Dubai. The parks would be built on the Palm Jebel Ali, part of the Dubai's ambitious Palm Islands complex. Yay! I read directly from my computer screen, or TV monitor in this case. The first phase was supposed to open in 2012. This was to be called Worlds of Discovery, which would have been amazing. It would include hotels, spas, shops, and restaurants. The project was put on hold in February of 2009 due to the global economic downturn, but maybe resumed once the economic situation improves. Now, this is the X factor here. SeaWorld Dubai, which would be very interesting because that would pull Six Flags into Dubai as well. I can't really see a Six Flags park in Dubai. I think Busch Gardens is close to push it. I mean, you have the roller coasters of Busch Gardens, stuff like Cheetah Hunt and Kumba. Stuff like that. And of course, you have the SeaWorld roller coasters, Manta, Kraken. So, I want to talk about that. And I think that Six Flags would be very smart to purchase SeaWorld if they don't go to the IPO. Because I think they would get a lot more money from a sale. Wow, sell. A sale of the SeaWorld, Busch Gardens, Aquatica, Water Country USA properties to Six Flags Entertainment. I think it would work really well. And I think it would play really well in the parks. Now, here's my plus and minus for the week. We are going to Six Flags, soon to be Six Flags owned, in their own mind, of course. Let's go with SeaWorld Orlando. Yes, a park that I have now become a now newly frequent visitor of. And I will return in September to right the wrongs and finally ride Kraken. Now, I've got the map in front of me here. And we're going to start off with Aquatica. Actually, no. It's been a long day. We're going to start off with Antarctica, and I think Antarctica is going to work really well. I like the submersive aspects of Antarctica. I like the whole penguin gimmick they're doing, and the fact that they got rid of Penguin Encounter to make it a lot bigger, a lot better, and a lot more immersive experience. And even the fact it's probably going to be really cold in there. So it's not going to be a fun time to be there when it's like 30 degrees in Orlando, but we'll kind of get used to it. It's kind of like ice at Gillard Palms. Kind of get cold there too, but you're kind of protected, so it's not a big deal. Now, we're talking about the SeaWorld coasters. We have Manta, we have Kraken. They're both amazing. Manta's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Kraken, I've heard, is really amazing. And Journey to Atlantis is fine, so we'll keep those as is. And I don't mind the Shamu's Happy Harbor area, but I want to look into something too. We're going to look at the other SeaWorld parks, and I'm going to see if anything else really fits in this area. Now, we have a Sesame Street 4D show called Lights, Camera, Imagination, which is at SeaWorld in San Diego. Now, this would be a good thing to put into the Wild Arctic area. Now, I really don't like Wild Arctic because it's way too bumpy, so I'd get rid of Wild Arctic and move Sesame Street into there. And then, of course, you can theme that towards the Polar Express for the Christmas months. That worked really well. It kills two birds with one stone. And there is a raft ride called Shipwreck Rapids. And I think it'd be a really good idea. The problem is, it's kind of overkill because we've already got Journey to Atlantis. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to leave that as is. And that's going to be what I'm going to take. That's what I'm taking from Wow, this has been a long day. SeaWorld, San Diego. So we're going to San Antonio now. So we're going to go to Texas. And everything's bigger in Texas, right? Even the coasters are bigger in Texas. So we're going to talk about that. Now, there is a roller coaster called the Great White. And I think that would fit really well. And there's the Steel Eel. So I want to take the Great White and the Steel Eel and I want to put those back in SeaWorld. Now, let's see what we do with that. I'm going to look at the park map here. And it's time to change some of the shows. I mean, I like One Ocean. One Ocean's amazing. Actually great now that I didn't have to deal with a lightning storm I did in September. I actually got to watch it in December, and I totally enjoyed myself, so that's fine. Now, there needs to be one more restaurant. I'm not exactly sure where you put it. I'm looking at the park here, and everything pretty much speaks for itself, honestly. I don't know what you want to do with the Nautilus Theater. Now, that's what the ski show is. And if you're not going to do anything with it, then you got to do something with it, honestly. I think if you want to get rid of... You can honestly get... It might be time to get rid of Shamu's Happy Harbor. Maybe. And maybe theme it towards Sesame Street and put more emphasis on the Sesame Street characters. That plays really well with the fact that Shamu's Happy Harbor is right next to Wild Arctic. Yeah, which is now rethemed towards Sesame Street. So I've created a Sesame Street area instead of Shamu's Happy Harbor. Yay me! Thank you, London Tipton. Anyway, so we're good with that. That's fine. Everything's good to go. And I brought more roller coasters in, so now we've got a little bit more of a diverse park. We changed some of the shows around a bit. And we have the Shamu Stadium, which is great. I love One Ocean. One Ocean is awesome. And I don't mind Blue Horizons. Blue Horizons is fine. Whale and Dolphin Theater. And I love Clyde and Seymour. I'd like to go back to the Hotel Clyde and Seymour gimmick back at Six Flags, Ohio, which I'd like to see that brought back every once in a while. You could change Journey to Atlantis a bit, maybe change the ride building a little bit, close it down, and then just revamp it. I mean, that would work pretty well. Shark Encounter is fine. I mean, everything is really fine overall. SeaWorld is really a park you really can't mess with very much. So, we're going to talk about that real quick. Now, I'm looking at a show that is at San Antonio for SeaWorld at what we could use for Nautilus Stadium, which is called Cool Vibrations. It's a boat and water skiing stunt show, and I think it would work really well. Now, you've got Lights, Camera, Imagination there too, but I have it now in Orlando, so we're good on that. And One Ocean's also there as well. I'm going to talk about San Diego, see if there's any shows I want to take out. No, we're fine. We are good to go on that one. So everything is pretty much writes itself. Honestly, SeaWorld is a really good park to plus, but it's really hard because there's so many things that you really can't get rid of. Honestly, if you want to get rid of the Sea Harbor pavilions, maybe right behind the Bayside Stadium, you want to do anything with that? Now, obviously, the Nautilus Theater is not... God, I'm looking at the wrong map. Nautilus Theater is where the Cirque show, the Allure, Call the Ocean is. So, you want to put a new show in there. We could definitely do something like that. Another Cirque-style show would be fine. Honestly, no problem. The Bayside Stadium is what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's right. That's where the water ski show could be. So that's fine. There's a Sea Harbor Pavilions. You want to move those to the sides. We'll have more space right there. You can put the Steel Eel there, possibly. Maybe put the Great White back between the Terrace Garden Buffet and the new Sesame Street area. We could do that. So we're good to go on that, and everything's good to go. Now, I'd close Kraken for a while, and I'd repaint it, get everything ready, and fix it so it doesn't break anymore. Because, you know, I've been to SeaWorld 4 times in the last 2 years, and you know what? Kraken wasn't working any of those times. And it makes me very sad and very agitated because I never had a chance to ride Kraken yet. I really wanted to. I wanted to ride Mana and Kraken and Journey to Atlantis last year, but it didn't work out. So we've got that taken care of. I've got a Sesame Street area of the park now. I've got 2 brand new roller coasters. I've got a new water ski stunt show. And I've revamped Journey to Atlantis, Kraken, and, oh God, keep Mana as is. And, of course, the Sea Lion and Otter Stadium, which I brought Hotel Clyde and Seymour in there. I think I've done pretty good. And this is a very quick plus and minus because there's really not much to do in SeaWorld. And maybe drop the prices a bit. That'd be a good idea. More discounts for AAA members. Yep. Gotta look out for number 1 there. And everything's fine. I had one more, like, a counter service resort. Wow, long day. One more restaurant, maybe a themed restaurant for the new Sesame Street area. So we put the restaurant somewhere between, I'm looking here, okay, somewhere between the new Sesame Street area and the new Sesame Street ride, 4D experience, which of course is taking over for Wild Arctic. Because I don't want to get jerked around like that anymore. It drives me insane. So, I think I've done a good job in plussing, and in this case, minusing SeaWorld, which I hope will soon be owned by Six Flags Corporation. I would love to see Disney take it, Universal take it, but it's not going to work. Too much of a monopoly, and, you know, we just bought the rights to Star Wars and Marvel, Pixar, so, need to stop buying things for a while. Got a new Fantasyland to worry about, and of course the Seven Dwarfs Mine Ride. So, that's pretty much my plus and minus for the day. SeaWorld, it's very good as is. SeaWorld is very, very awesome. And it's a park you people need to go to, honestly. If you don't go to SeaWorld, you don't think you like SeaWorld, there's something for everybody. There's roller coasters, there's experiences, there's awesome shows. And you know what? The food's not too bad either. Shark's Underwater Grill, personally, one of my not Disney favorite restaurants, without question. A theme park restaurant, other than Disney property, Shark's Underwater Grill is pretty amazing. It's like coral reef, but actually has good food. So there. But I'm going to go ahead and get off here. Now, real quick, before I stop talking, I do want to mention the Christmas events. The Christmas events can stay as is, but I would make the shows during the day. So if you come there during the Christmas season, you can actually watch the Christmas shows during the day. You don't have to wait until a 9 o'clock park close. Because a lot of the times, the only times you have a later park close is on the weekends. Well, the people on the weekdays get gypped out of, like me, get gypped out of watching the Christmas shows. So what you could do, you could split up the Christmas shows. You have half of the day, the regular shows, and then right before park closing, the last show before park closing, Christmas shows. Perfect way to do it. So you pretty much finish one show, and then you can just revamp everything. Christmassy, Christmassy, yay! Bring out the snow globes you can stand in and get attacked with feathers. And you're good to go. And that way, you don't miss out on the Christmas experience at SeaWorld, because it's phenomenal. And I like the trees on the water. That's pretty cool. But SeaWorld did a really good job today, and I plussed it, I minused it, and I made it better. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. And trust me, I will be back again tomorrow for my Royal Rumble prediction video. For all you wrestling fans out there, I'm going to be talking about the Royal Rumble, previewing the Royal Rumble, what I think is going to happen, who I think is going to win, and exactly what I think is going to go down tomorrow night. So, my plus and minus next week, you know what? I think I've held this back long enough. And I alluded to it the last couple of videos, and you know what? I'm going to my favorite park. Next week's plus and minus, this is for you, Hochberg, Disney's Hollywood Studios. And that's all I got to say about that.